You should talk about the ball that you caught in the pond, in the lake, in the ocean, in the game.
True. So I was expecting to play a different game. As last episode, which recently got uploaded because I've been busy, but now we're good. I was planning on playing something else. What?
Sober September, everybody.
Yeah, something like that. I've been getting actual work done. So I was originally planning on playing something else, but I was like, you know what? I'm not in the mood. I want to go play a quickie.
I want to fish.
I want a quickie. And then it turns out that
I want a quickie too, but we're talking different quickies.
I mean, I want both quickies, but I wanted a quickie, and then it turns out that this game wasn't a quickie, and yet I finished it anyways. So I played Dredge. It was released last year it was developed by Black Salt Games and published by Team 17 in the Unity engine. Apparently both of these companies have been around since the 90s, and I've never heard of them. And they've released a bajillion games of every type. Like, so much stuff. Basically, it's a fishing game.
Whoa.
It's hard how else to describe, like, perspective-wise. It's a third-person, kind of open, I would say open world. It's a very small open world, non-linear for the most part, but also story-based fishing simulator.
I have a question. Why is it called Dredge instead of fish? Do you use nets or do you use fishing line?
I'll get there.
All right.
So there's many forms of gameplay.
Wow.
So brief overview of the story. There is a story. It is fairly minimal, and it is mostly in the background because you will spend so much time doing other things. There is a main quest line, but basically all the rest of the game you can do in kind of any order-ish. Like, some things you need certain upgrades that you should probably do in a certain order, but in terms of the game basically gives you like a pin board, like a cork board, and just puts all your objectives on it in like a random order. Like, it isn't prioritized or whatever. It just lets you do whatever the fuck you want, which I really, really like. So main story is you wash up on shore in this town, and you're like, I have no memory, and my boat just sank.
And then typical Friday night for you.
Exactly. And the mayor is like, good thing for you, we need a new fisherman for our town. Here's a shitty little dinghy. Now get out there, champ. Slaps you on the back, and you start fishing. Through that, you meet probably 20, less than 20, like, total NPCs across the entire game, who are in different little villages, towns, islands, etc. On this, it's an archipelago, so it's a very weird, like, world map. You get upgrades for your boat. You have to pay off a debt of the boat first. You get upgrades to your fishing line, so you can get different type of fishes. You sell the fishes, and over the course of the story part of the game, you uncover some secrets. There's some sussy shit. The next word out of, like, in the main description on the Wikipedia page is Lovecraftian. So it's exactly what you expect. The fish are fucking weird. The people are not worshipping the fish, so it's not full Innsmouth, although there's many references to Innsmouth in this game.
Can you slap people with fishes?
No.
Aww.
I almost played Call of Cthulhu instead of this game, which made it even funnier. Another Lovecraftian Innsmouth. So you uncover some mysteries. You get recruited by a collector to get relics while you're out fishing. So the total, the old mayor went missing. He knows some stuff. There's an old lighthouse keeper. She's kind of crazy, but she knows some stuff. There's a traveling pontoon, like, merchant, who is the character you will probably interact with the most in the game, with the least amount of backstory, but she's like your bestie, because when wacky shit happens in the game and you are booking it for a random pontoon, because she has 4 of them scattered throughout the regions of the game, and you're like, oh fuck, I need to repair my boat and sell all my shit, and she's just like, dude, you need to sleep. She has no real character, but, like, it's the one you will definitely interact with her the most. There is simultaneously a lot and also no real spoilers. It's very weird. A lot of it is exactly what you would expect. Missing memory, Lovecraftian horror, and you're getting recruited to collect stuff. I think you can make enough inferences off of that in terms of, like, what the main story entails. I don't really want to go beyond that. None of the twists are particularly surprising, but I do think they work well, and I like them because this is my jam. Like, so this jam is so far up my toenails. It's all up in there. So gameplay, you go fish. You boat around and you fish, but you also trawl and you dredge.
Whoa.
Like the game says. So you can dredge for salvage, which includes trinkets, which can be sold at effectively a pawn shop, earrings, plates, goblets, whatever. Dredging for materials to upgrade your boat or to sell, for various different, additional inventory spots, better fishing equipment, more durability, faster engines, exactly what you'd expect. Basic. I would almost say actual RPG, but I won't because that would be wrong. But we are above stat allocation, but we are below dice rolling. We're in that spot. I would call this a role-playing game, but with many asterisks next to it. So in terms of how you go about your various tasks, you will get a metric fuck ton of side quests. You'll meet researchers and scientists, a stray dog that you have to rescue, a grieving parent, people who need deliveries done, all the stuff you'd imagine. Just a lot of doing shit. You're a guy on a boat. You do shit on boat. So you fish and you dredge and trawl. Trawling is a background. Once you get a trawl, you dump it, and as you drive your boat, sail. Well, it's not really sailing, but when your boat go put, and eventually you collect fish. That's all there is to trawling. It's just exactly what it sounds like. Dredging and fishing are quick time events, and I like them. They're not cinematic quick time events a la Halo 4, Tomb Raider, or Uncharted type stuff. They are... Easy example. Let's say you go over a spot where there's fishes. You hit the A button to go, I want to fish here. And it brings up a little box. In addition to your cargo inventory, you press X to start fishing. A circle goes around, like a ball goes around a circle, and you have to hit it in a certain safe zone multiple times to speed up your fishing.
Reeling.
Basically, reeling. Yeah, literally reeling.
Yes.
And then depending on the type of fish and the type of climate you're in, there is, coastal, oceanic, mangrove, which is like swamps. Abysmal, where all the anglerfish are, volcanic, because volcanoes, all that sort of stuff. All of those have different mechanics. It's the exact same logic, so they are all just QuickTime events, but they change the way it's visually represented enough where I really like it. It's not mindless, but it is really good to relax to. It's very rhythmic. You can just let the reel do its thing, but that takes up a lot more time, whereas if you hit the thing and you get it faster, so you save time. There's a day-night cycle, which is very relevant to gameplay because during the day you can get the fishes, at night you can get different fishes and some squids and some other stuff. In addition to that, during night you will go cuckoo bananas. You literally start having hallucinations and it's awesome. I love it. They're so silly. This is a very cartoony game, despite having Lovecraftian big squid monster. You'll just see start hallucinating red eyeballs everywhere. Or the game will fuck with you, and you need to be able to see at night. There's fog. Most of the game is the night cycle is based off of fog and not being able to see, so you need headlights. When you get better headlights and whatever, you can see farther and whatever. When you're tired and you're at night and so you're going forward, right? And then you don't see anything. And you're I can see out 50 feet, whatever. If you're tired enough, the game will just fucking put a brick wall in front of you. If you're tired, you've been out on the sea for 3 days, it'll just put rocks in front of you. They literally appear, and they have the hallucination effect is kind of like the old 3D glasses, so it gets all bluish green and red around the edges, and it makes you feel cuckoo banana. It's adorable. I really, really like it. It's fucking annoying when I'm speeding through shit because I'm going crazy and I'm seeing shit and it's dark and it's scary out here, and then I just accidentally crash my fucking hull onto a rock that literally doesn't exist during the daytime. They only put it there to fuck me. But I like it. It doesn't feel unfair. It does feel like it rewards you for either being patient, being smart with your time allocations, being rested, and all that sort of stuff, as well as upgrading your boat so you can navigate faster, whether it be having better reverse burst speed / braking speed, being able to rotate faster, all that sort of stuff. In addition to that, during nighttime, there's weird shit that happens. My first encounter of the not just regular fishing type was I was like my third day in game. I was putting out during the dark. I was like, oh look, I can get squid. And then I saw in the distance what looked like another boat. It looked like mine. It had a little light on it. And I was like, I didn't know there were other boats in this game. Because I went in blind. I just saw a cool art style fishing. I like this. I crank my foghorn like a fucking idiot, and the boat comes towards me, and I'm like, neat. I wonder if it's an NPC or whatever. And then 50 feet in front of me, so like half a second of reaction time, it's a giant fucking fish, and it fucking smashes my boat. The whole game is like that.
It's a dogfish because it came running when you whistled.
And each like region has their own types of things like that. They're not all the same. But that's like a good example. In the volcanic area, there are piranhas that you can't fish for, but they'll eventually get attracted to your boat and slow you down, and then a really big piranha will come find you and fuck you up. Like,
I've seen Finding Nemo.
Pretty much.
It's a piranha!
So each region just has unique shit like that, which I really think is cool. So it rewards you for being out during the daytime, but also a lot of the fun is getting fucked with. So try not to die, because you will crash your boat and it will kill you.
Can you sleep on the boat?
There is no on land anything. You never leave the boat, technically speaking. But you have to be at dock to sleep. So you have to be at a port, which there are ports everywhere.
Weigh anchor?
No weighing anchor. So yeah, it just has a good dynamic. It's not really that hard. You can just do a bunch of shit in the daytime and make it easier for yourself. But again, that's part of the enjoyment, is like, what this place is weird. What's going on? There's magic weird fish. Also, the fish will get weirder as the game goes on. You get aberrations, like a goblin shark that is like translucent, or
a rainbow trout that is actually rainbow.
No rainbow trout that's actually a rainbow.
The road?
Not quite.
Oh.
But like, you'll get like a mackerel that's still alive but has no flesh on it.
Will you get a flushed goldfish that evolved in the sewers?
Not quite.
Oh.
Or you'll get like a squid that has like 80 tentacles on it instead of like 8 or 9.
That's normal.
Sure, like weird shit like that, and then those will sell for more money. Part of that is part of your side quests. You know, certain characters want certain types of fish or other aquatic creatures. Yeah, just that sort of stuff. There is probably a total of like 400 different types of creatures that you can collect for your encyclopedia in terms of like total variations. In reality, it's probably more like 150 plus. Most of them have multiple aberrations, and then there's some exotic ones, and there's 2 DLCs that add more. So there's a good amount, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. It's more like every 20 minutes you're like, shit, it's a new type of fish, cool, and then you fish long enough and you're like, whoa, this is a really fucked up version of that fish. Why does it have 8 eyes? Like that sort of stuff. Again, very silly, very fun, but whatever.
Is there logic to fishing? Like, where you stop your boat, will you find schools of fish or nothingness?
Sort of. Like a little bit. So when you stop on a spot, so the spots are like categories. There's you have a spyglass, so you can see these things because there's like a little disturbance on the water. So you'll have your basic categories like coastal, oceanic, whatever. So that's depending on what rods you have, if you have like your equipment, so what you are physically capable of doing and how quickly it'll go. The individual fish in each area are pretty logical. For, you know, like eels are in shallow water, and when you're in the middle of nowhere, there are sharks type, you know, basic logic. Everything in the swampy areas is fucking disgusting. They're all brown and goopy and bleh. You can also do crab traps and lobster trap. Well, crab trap / lobster trap, they're basically the same thing. Same thing. You can upgrade their durability. You have to pick them up. Various different other types of creatures like shrimp and just other like crustaceans that you can get. Same thing. Different depths have different things you can get depending on how long you leave it out there. Also part of your quests and your collecting. And then each fishing spot. I think if you... I don't know this, but I'm sure if I looked it up if I went on the Reddit, I could probably figure it out. I think everything is preset on like the full map size. But if you drain one spot, so it starts off at high,
occupancy,
something like that. I don't remember. I think it might actually be occupancy, something like that. And it says high, and you can get between like 6 to 10 or whatever sort of fish, and then when it's depleted, it'll take a day, 2 days, and then it might be low, and then there's only a couple. So there is a logic to it. Once you start exploring and your boat gets a fuck ton faster as the game progresses, you don't need to worry about that too much. It's more of an annoyance than anything else. You'll just have to come back to spots. Most types of fish have probably a dozen or 24 locations you can find them. Just some of them are more rare than others. Like exotics, there's like 4 exotic fish, I believe. They're only in 4 specific locations, and you can only get them once. Stuff like that. There is some specifics. Post-launch content. One, there was I don't remember, it was within the first few months after the game came out, they had just a big patch, which included a photo mode, which is helpful, but also you can just take screenshots, so whatever. But photo modes are never a bad thing. Photo mode, peaceful option, which just turns off like hostile mobs for pussies. The game's not hard. It's just whatever, if you want to only fish. Only fish. I think that would be a good service, to be honest. It's when you get the fish, and then you spit the zit in its mouth and you chuck it back in.
Turn off horde mode is literally just dad mode enabled. Pretty
much. It's like peaceful mode for Minecraft. As well as like general quality of life updates sort of stuff.
Post launch content.
Yeah, there's something else. Boat customization got added, so you can change none of it in terms of like aesthetic customization. None of it affects any of your stats, but you can trawl for flags. There's like a pirate flag and like a many-eyed Lovecraftian flag and a crescent or whatever. You can pick what color your roof is, like really basic stuff, because your boat is like... Your boat physically never changes size in game. Your cargo capacity gets much bigger, but like it is always a dinghy. Like you can have like 50 storage spaces, and you're still like a dinghy that can hold 4 people. Like it is the size of the boat in Jaws. Like it's tiny.
That's funny.
Quite. It's very. It helps with the cozy feeling of the game. And then there are 2 DLC expansions which cost under $10 each. I don't remember how much each one is. Both of them are best played before the end game. They're integrated. So one of them is about an oil rig. It has a lot of things to say about oil drilling, that's for sure. So this one, you help a bunch of people build an oil rig because they're like, we lost a bunch of our shit. Because I started the game with the DLCs already installed, I was finding their crates around. I'm like, what am I supposed to use these for? And then I got maybe halfway through, and I finally went out to what's clearly an oil rigging platform and went, oh, this is one of the DLC things. So you have to use those resources to help build factory parts, additional upgrades, different tools, because it's an oil drill and it's also kind of related to the Lovecraft stuff. Every time you do a major upgrade, it fucks shit up more. So then you'll have massive oil spills that completely fuck the environment in some areas. And then the scientist, who's kind of going cuckoo banana as the time goes on, who definitely doesn't serve some fish god or something, don't ask questions, needs you to go do research, so you get new equipment that enables you to go fishing in those oily patches, which includes new fish.
That's when the trout have rainbows on them.
I still don't think there's actually a rainbow trout. I will double check for you though.
An oil joke.
I know. Lube. Literally, like that's part of the description. Like it's like, yes, it's like a well lubricated fishing pole or something. So every major upgrade, it'll affect one of the 4 major quadrants of the game. Thus, the difficulty changes. You have to upgrade your equipment to go do that with the special goop on it. You can also trawl to collect the oil, which is useful in scientific experiments, to get new parts, to upgrade your boat again, or get new bait. Another minor part of the game, you meet a a castaway from a military platoon or whatever, and he'll make bait for you after you help him kill a bunch of creatures with catapults. So you bring him fish, he smushes them into a bucket. You chuck the bucket overboard, you can get fish. Very, very simple stuff.
Yep.
But with the Iron Rig DLC, you can upgrade those to get exotic fish more frequently or get aberrations more frequently based on whatever ingredients you're using. It does connect to the story in a small but cool way, where one of the researcher that you find in part of the game, and you help with doing research around a giant squid. It's not actually the main bad creature, by the way. The Kraken isn't the big evil for once, thank God. But you help her do some stuff, do some research, find some fish for her, whatever. Turns out she used to work for this company, and she helps you sabotage it, which is fucking awesome. So because the big
That's the plot of Piranha. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, kind of. Like the guy in the suit's like, build it faster, and then all of the workers on the rig are like, dude, we're gonna fucking die, and he's like, I don't care, profits. So eventually you're like, this is bad actually, and then you go talk to her, and she's like, see, now you understand why I left, and then she helps you build a thing to, instead of making a fuck off signal, it's a come here big boy signal, and then the squid like scrungles up on the fucking platform. And
I wish I could do a Doofenshmirtz impersonation, because I would say it's the fuck offinator.
Yeah, I can't do it either, but yeah, it's
Where's Colin when we need him?
True. And I think that story connection is neat. The problem with the DLC is it's very grindy, because you need so many crates and they take up so much inventory space. If you start collecting them early on like I did, you will waste all of your like on land inventory space immediately. So you need to know not to get them until a certain time, but if you don't get them until you start the DLC, which I would say roughly halfway through the game is around the best time to do so, maybe towards the third quarter, you can just do it in endgame. It's just way fucking easier to do it then, so whatever. Again, you can kind of do these things whenever it's easiest for you. Where'd he go? But if you do wait until you just start this DLC and then you would spend a big chunk of time on it, you will have to ping pong back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between a bunch of different locations to find their fucking supplies for them. And that is a big time sink. So both options don't pan out that great. It was worth the money. I like its politics, and I like this story, and it's fun because there's new creatures. The oil spill stuff is really cool, because then there's also like oil-based monsters and whatever. But the time sink was definitely worse. I think it's hard to calculate because they're all integrated, but I think I spent maybe 6 hours on this DLC in total ish. So time-wise good, but I prefer the second DLC, the Pale Reach or something like that. You can go ice fishing. You go down south and there's ice. Nobody fucking knows why. Don't ask questions. And it includes a whole different biome, which is cool. I believe it's at the same price point. Spent this less time, but it felt more rewarding because you get to feed a narwhal. And the narwhal is evil and will try to kill you a lot. He's the primary bad guy in the area. And that's also where one of the giant squids is slumbering in his ice block.
That sounded like this DLC is worth the $10 because now I can pet the dog.
Kind of, yeah. So you go down to this unmarked part of the map. You meet the pontoon lady who's like, hey, I can build you some shit so you can navigate this, because there's a bunch of ice chunks and it'll fuck your boat, but I need you to find these things. So you go find the bits, and then you get a fucking plow, so you can just fucking right up in that ice. You can still damage your hull, so you have to be a little careful, but you can just plow through shit, which is great. So it unlocks different areas. As you feed the narwhal, it will destroy like certain barriers, again unlocking more area. This DLC adds a whole biome. It's not very large, but it is physical space added onto the map, which is big for me. The story is basically a bunch of fishermen way back in the day went missing, and you find their like notes and supplies, and you can free them from their prisons of ice, where it turns out there were crystals that were talking to you, and then you put all the crystals together, and then you awaken the squid, and then you can catch the squid with a big net. I'm not joking. That's pretty much the whole story. It's a really good visual distinction from the open ocean or swamps or like tropical beaches to ice. There's a whole new selection, again, of fish. All of the ice-based fish are fucking awesome. You also have to get new equipment, but a lot less new equipment than the Iron Rig DLC. Also, you don't have to collect as many things. That's just generally, like, you don't have to go collect in total. I probably had to get like 40 fucking crates of supplies over the whole game for the Iron Rig. This one, you need 4 specific parts to build your plow, and then you need a couple more to build an ice block machine so you can like keep your fish for longer in your boat. And the rest of it's just collecting your normal collectible stuff and then navigating the area. So I think I spent probably 4 hours on this one, but like I actually feel like this one is more worth the price point because it wasn't as much of a time sink, but it was more fun. It felt like it added more real content, not just kind of filler. The story was simpler, but it worked well. And I like snow.
Apparently, nobody knows why a narwhal has a tusk, but research shows that it's probably to attract a mate. The bigger the tusk, the more likely to have bitches.
The
kind of like elks in their antlers and stuff.
The narwhal in this game has a glowing horn. It glows orange, so you can see him in the dark. And also, he does kind of look like a dog. It's weird. It's a weird looking narwhal, okay? Yeah, it adds a little bit less total side quest stuff, but it just had a lot more fun with it. Like I finished that area in one big go because I was just having fun with it. Whereas the Iron Rig, I had to keep breaking up with regular gameplay. Yeah, I think I got Dredge either for free with Games with Gold or with Xbox Game Pass or for like $5. I genuinely can't remember. And then I got the DLCs for full price, but I used Microsoft Rewards points, so I paid no money because I'm cool and based like that. I don't think they sell a bundle. Like when you load up the game with the DLCs installed, it says Dredge Complete Edition, but there is no version of that I could find to just buy. Like it isn't listed on like the Wikipedia or anything like that. Maybe that's just because the game only came out last year, so maybe they'll put all of it on a disc later. Maybe there's more DLC coming. I don't know, but that's what I know of for now. Total time was... Do you remember what I told you last night?
I think you said 30.
Probably about 35 to 40 hours for full game and both DLCs. The only achievements I don't have is I haven't caught like all fish and all aberrations of all fish and all the exotics.
How close are you to that? Kinda? Mostly?
I think I have maybe 15 to 20% of like the total like codex to fix.
Wow.
But all quests are done, all side quests are done. I have all endings. There are multiple endings. I have a butt ton of money, so that's not a problem anymore. I have fully upgraded all my stuff. Both DLCs are done. So now I'm just cruising and just dumping out some exotic chum and getting some weird looking fish.
Now you're enabling dad mode to just fish and find all the fishes.
Yes, but also if you enable dad mode, it does take away some fishes because some fishes are evil. They're bad. Like some, like there are aggro fishes. Actually, most of the fish are pretty aggro. Again, Lovecraftian horror, but not Lovecraftian in like the what if God was really big and hated you, but more like what if God was a big squid and hated you. So you know how it is. This was like absolute A tier. Like it's not voice acted, which I think is my only real criticism. I could think of ways to make it more thorough or longer or more like scary or whatever, but it does exactly what it wants to do. It's fun. I think the game's full price is like $20 or $30, so definitely worth it on that front. It's probably available on every type of like subscription service you can find. I believe it's on all platforms as well. It runs really well. I had no technical problems at all, like whatsoever. No crashing, no frame rate drops, no bugs, no glitches. Flawless performance, honestly. Like it's not as flashy as something with, ultra mega realistic, look at the pores on his face type graphics, but the art style works perfectly for what it is, and zero difficulty running it on my Xbox Series X. A tier. Like I would do some things different, but they would be in addition to. I wouldn't change any part of the game really, which is rare for me because I'm a whiny bitch. So this is, from the games of this year, this is one of the top ones by a long shot. It's been an absolute blast.